Okay, well, Shalom, Lord in Christ. We are the ISUPK, started out at 125th Street, 1 West, Harlem, New York, under the command of General Yohanna. And we teach that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the true Hebrew Israelites of the Bible, God's chosen people. And this week's topic, first of all, last week, Radar was on SAR. I meant he was on Shamar, so I'm just going to correct that mistake for any of the listeners that was tuned in. Radar. If you can turn down your volume just a touch.
Watching TV or something.
Are you watching it on TV?
No, is that better?
Yeah, go on. Yeah, that's
all
better.
Right? That's better now.
Yeah, that's better.
No swear. I put on my speaker in it, but I switched it off.
Okay. So this week's class. So I've corrected that. So Radar was on Shamar last week. He wasn't on Sar. Sar is the Hebrew for turn. Okay, so he was on Shamar, which means he was on point. He was on guard in the Hebrew. And that's what Radar was on last week. So now we've corrected that. We'll go straight into this week's class. This week's class is called Heaven and Hell Are Conditions. Okay, so we're taught in the Christian church that heaven and hell are physical places that you can go to. Like, we're taught that heaven is a place where there's a lot of whiteness, white clouds, white angels, white wings floating around the place. God's in the midst, in the middle of them all, dishing out orders. And it's just a beautiful white scenery. And they call it heaven in the Christian church. And according to the Bible, the oracles of the Most High God, this is not true. And growing up in the Christian church, our people, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we're also taught that hell is a physical place where we die and go to, a place of fire and brimstone where the devil lives. The devil resides with a bag of demons that are working for him, are doing his unnatural works or his deceptions. Okay, so this is not true, and it's not in the Bible. So we want to know where does this doctrine come from? Where does this doctrine come from? If you can get me, Radar, get me Matthew 6 and 10.
Can't have the one car.
So we're going to show the audience today, the live audience, that heaven and hell are not physical places where we die and go to. The pastor will have you believe that if you're good and if you're righteous in this life, you will die and go to a place called heaven. If you're wicked and unrighteous in this life, you'll die and go to a place down below called hell, a place of fire, a place of burning hot rocks. And you can't find that anywhere in the Bible. It's not in there. So where does this doctrine come from? Because we've been lied to, Israel, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Salakia. Just hold that one sec for me, Radar. Just before we start, just a quick announcement. We do live classes from 7 to 9, 4 days a week at 394 Lodge Road, Hockley. I'll give you the postcode at the end of the class. So Monday night is the history class with Captain Parashia. Tuesday night is the Brotherhood and Sisterhood class with me, Officer Oriala. Wednesday night is the law class with Officer Dungabar. Thursday is the scripture breakdown class with Officer Karathia. They're the 4 live classes in the school every week. Friday, we have On the Ends from 9 till 11, a radio show live with Officer Karathia and Officer Dungabar. We have a little earlier than that, 2 hours earlier, from 7 till 9. We have a live Lashawan Kodash class, which means the Most High's holy tongue. It's the ancient Hebrew taught by Officer Rabban, live in Manchester. So, and then on Saturdays, we have a Saturday morning Sabbath service in the school from 10 till 11. Then from 12 till 5, we have a street camp, 1 week in Birmingham, the next week in London. And these street camps alternate weekly. So they're the classes and the camps that we keep in the school and out in London and Birmingham fortnightly. And the classes are 4 days a week, and the Lashawan Kodash class is live on a Friday, 7 till 9. Okay, if anybody's interested in getting involved, we're live. You can ask all your questions live on YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook. Shalom, Trooper Yakawam. Shalom, Yoba Shim Yoshai Brakatah. Shalom, Nakapaya 1 West. Shalom, Yahushemai Ladaba Hashim Yoshai. All of Israel, Shalom. We're going to crack on with the class and go straight into it. Heaven and hell are conditions. That's the name of the class. Heaven and hell. Now, we're going to show the audience tonight, the live audience, that heaven and hell is not a physical place where you can type and go to, like we're taught in the Christian church. And we're taught this false doctrine in the Islamic mosque. This is a doctrine that even the 12 tribe Rastafarians push, who do read the Bible and fortunately are Christian, that they believe in the Christian doctrine, but it differs slightly. Their doctrine differs slightly, like the Islamic doctrine does and the Christian doctrine does. But all three of them are quite similar. They believe that there is one God, but to die, you have to be good and die and go to heaven, or you're either bad in this life and you die and you go to hell. And that's nowhere in the scriptures. That's nowhere in the oracles of the Most High God. We can't find that anywhere in the Bible. But what we can find and prove out of the Bible, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, is that heaven and hell are a conditioning. They're a conditioning of the heart and of the mind, a state of affairs, how we're living in this kingdom right here, right now. And we're going to prove that today. So we're going to start off with Matthew 6 and 10. Radar, if you want to get that for me.
Connor, one, I got that.
Go on and read.
Book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 10. Thy kingdom come.
Okay, so hold that. Thy kingdom come. This is red writing in the book of Matthew. So Matthew, this is the first book in the gospel, the 4 gospels of Christ: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Matthew was one of the apostles. Now, Matthew's version of events, this is red writing. Okay, so what does red writing mean? Can you tell me, Radar? What is red writing in the gospel?
It means that this is Christ speaking himself.
There we go. We're quoting Jesus Christ. This is Christ speaking himself. So this, what we're going dipping into here, is the Lord's Prayer, which most of our people are familiar with. We're familiar with it in the Christian church even, but they do not know how to break this down. So, but we do at the ISUPK under the command of General Yohanna. So read that again, Radar.
Khan, the one Khan. Is it? Thy kingdom come.
Thy kingdom come. So here, the kingdom's coming. So if heaven is somewhere, a place where you go and sit on a white cloud, why is the kingdom coming? Where is it coming? It's coming to earth, which means the kingdom of heaven will be on earth. Read on.
Thy will be done in earth.
Read that again.
Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven.
So here Jesus is telling you that thy kingdom come. Kingdom of heaven is here. It'll be on earth. It's coming. It's not going to be a place where you need to die and go to. It's a place right here. You can seek it. And how do you get the kingdom on earth? Through salvation. How do you get salvation? Through keeping the Lord's laws, statutes, and commandments.
That's right.
It's as simple as that. And here is the beginning of the proof that the kingdom of heaven is a conditioning of the mind, a conditioning of the heart. Read that again, Radar.
Con. Matthew chapter 6, verse 8, verse 10. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven.
So thy kingdom come, drop that and get Revelation 5 and 10, Radar. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Okay, so this state, this mind state of being in heaven, do you think it's a high or a low? Does anybody want to have a go at that? Being in the kingdom of heaven, what state do you think you'd be in if you're in heaven? You'd be on a high, wouldn't you? You'd be in a higher state. So therefore, the kingdom of hell must be the opposite to that. But we're going to dip into that. We're going to look into that in a little while. Okay, so
Lucky, what do you say? Revelation what?
Revelation 5 and 10.
Con, I got that. So just make sure.
Okay, so here our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ is saying that the kingdom is coming. So if the kingdom is coming, it's going to be right here. We're going to be on that high right here in this kingdom in earth. Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. So that there's your explanation right there. Heaven and earth are exactly the same place, which means that heaven cannot be a physical place that you die and go to, like the Christian church pushes. It must be a conditioning. It must be a condition that a people are living in. You're either on a high state or a low state. You're either in heaven or you're not. Okay, so you got that Revelation 5 and 10, Radar?
Con.
If you've got any questions, type them into our StreamYard, our live chat, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. We'll get the questions and answer them. Okay, we're here till 9 o'clock. So any questions you've got, just type them in. So Revelation 5 and 10. Read that for me, Radar.
Revelations chapter 5, verse 10. And has made us unto our God.
And as what?
Has made us unto our God, kings and priests.
And has made us unto our God, kings and priests. Now, this is talking about blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. This is a precept about the Hebrew Israelites. Our God made us kings and priests. So why are we not kings and priests today? Kings, what do kings do? Rule. Kings rule. So why are we not ruling? If God made us as kings and priests, why are we not ruling? Let's read on and find out. Read that from the top, Radar.
Con. And has made us unto our God, kings and priests.
Read.
And we shall reign on the earth.
We shall do what?
Reign on the earth.
We shall do what?
Reign on the earth.
Does anybody know what reign means? Rule. Thank you. We will rule. In class, we've been told by Brother Ray that to reign means to rule, which is correct. Anybody that reigns rules, and kings rule. We was made to be kings and priests, and we was made to reign and rule this earth. That's right. So why? And that's a conditioning. That's heaven. That's a condition right there. That's a state of condition. That's being a king is meaning you're in a high state of affairs. Okay, you're in a high state. Don't lose that, radar. Hold that. Hold that, because we are the kings and the priests today. But you wouldn't believe it if you looked at us. You would not believe it, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. So go on, sir.
The two scriptures you read was deep, because both of them was Christ talking about the future, and he's saying how you're gonna reign on the earth. He didn't mention nothing about in the sky. He's letting you know what the kingdom of heaven is. Saying in the future, I'm gonna make you kings and priests. You're not gonna be gangbangers no more, and you're gonna be reigning. You're not gonna be in jail no more, and you're gonna be reigning on this earth. Christ said he wants his will done on this earth. So where's the heaven coming to this? Where's the white clouds? And it's deep, man. When you put it out, it's kind of deep, man.
Khan. Officer Karathia says that it is deep. I'm sure you heard that. Just to reiterate, you speak up and say that again for us, Officer Karathia.
Yeah, both scriptures was referring to reigning right here on the earth. None of them mention any white clouds. None of them mention the sky and the ozone layer. Both of them are saying in the future, things are going to be running right here on earth. He didn't say nothing about heaven. Christ himself said, I want your will to be done on the earth. So deep.
So two precepts there regarding Christ. The first one was read right in. So Christ is saying that we will run this earth. We will be kings and priests. And we started out from Adam as ruling this earth. This earth belonged to us. So we've got to look at what happened to us. How did we fall? How did we fall off our pedestal? And that is because we was disobedient and didn't keep the law, statutes, and commandments. But when the new kingdom comes on earth, our new condition, not a place with pearly white clouds that you have to die. You don't have to die to be in heaven. For example, who rules this earth to this day? Go on, Officer Chris. The white man. The white man rules this earth today. Okay, so who do you think is living in a state of heaven? It's not us, is it, Israel? And we started out as ruling, and we're going to end ruling, but we're not ruling now. And you could just have to walk out your front door to see that every day of your life, to see that a different nation of people that were not ordained by God in the beginning to rule this earth are the ones that have the condition of heaven. They're living in heaven. They've got all the nuclear weapons, the armies, the monies. They've got all the royal bloodlines that mean anything. Fake royal bloodlines, so be it, but their royal bloodline outweighs our royal bloodline because they're in charge of this kingdom. This is their heaven. This kingdom is our hell, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Read that again, Radar, from the top.
Khan are the one, Khan.
And remember.
Revelations.
Hold on, Radar. Remember, we are living under grace at the minute, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We are in a grace period. This is what Christ came and died for, to give us a second chance. And we're living under grace, so we can get this back, everything that we lost. And how do we get that back? Can anybody answer me? How we get our king and priest, our priesthood and our king status, our condition of heaven? How do we get that back? Does anybody know?
By following the Most High and getting it back on our side, which is keeping his laws, such as commandments. By
getting the Most High God back on our side and keeping his laws, statutes, and commandments, being in his favor as we were before. And that's how we get back this status and this condition of heaven. Kings and priests. Read that again from the top, Radar.
Colossians chapter 5, verse 10. And he made us unto our God.
And he made us unto our God. Read.
Kings and priests.
Kings and priests.
And
Read
we
on.
shall reign on the earth.
And we shall reign on the earth. So this state of affairs that we was in the beginning is on its way back. It's coming back. And this is how we're going to be. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We will rule supreme again. The ones that are keeping the Most High God's laws, statutes, and commandments. Drop that and get me Ecclesiastes 10 and 7, Radar. Ecclesiastes 10 and 7. If you get it for me in class. So, Shalom Yi. Yo Shemai Ladaba Hashim Yo Shai. Sister Sharapah. Shalom. Yo Shemai Ladaba Hashim Yo Shai. So today's class is heaven and hell are a condition. They are not a place that you can visit like we're taught in the Christian church. They are not a place where you have to die first to go and see. You don't have to die to go and be in the kingdom of heaven. You can be in the kingdom of heaven right here if you keep the Lord's laws, statutes, and commandments. Right. We've got a better future coming. But guess what, Israel? Time's running out. You've not got forever. Time is running out. We've got to get this right now.
Like I saw a documentary when they said that they would tell slaves just that the white man was in heaven right now, getting eliminated and, enslaving black people. And they'll tell the black slave, listen, don't worry about it, man. Just don't rebel. Don't try to escape. And you know what? You get your heaven when you die. Meanwhile, he was getting his heaven while he was alive. If heaven does exist, that means the white man gets two heavens, and we get one, man. That shit ain't fair.
And that's what they teach in the Christian church. This is the nonsense we have to listen to and put up with from our pastors who have sold us out, sold us down the river. And they've been pushing this nonsense since 1865, since the end of slavery. Like it wasn't enough for our people to go through it for 4 centuries. We have to still, from the oppressor, we put up with this false doctrine and this nonsense for 4 centuries. We come out of that oppression, allegedly, and we have to put up with it with our own people now, who have sold us out. And that's what happens in the Christian church. They'll give you every false doctrine under the book to lead you astray, to take you away from the Most High God, okay? To take you away from heaven or the chance or the promise of being in heaven, which is not a physical place. Yeah, go on, other one.
Sorry, I keep cutting in. They're saying that basically they did it because if they didn't, it would be counterproductive. It's like when you work for a job, like you work for McDonald's, not the best job in the world, but say, if you be with us for 5 years, we'll give you a pay rise, or if you sell 10 apple pies a day, we'll give you a little raise. Yeah. They did it to us.
Incentive.
If you're just working, you don't mind committing suicide, or you don't mind dying because there's no light at the end of the tunnel. So they give you that little light, and you think that, right, I'm working now, but it's going to pay off in the end. Yeah,
that's so true. Give that a hand. That is so true. That is so true. That is so true. Just hold that Ecclesiastes 10 and 7 just for 1 minute. Have you got Ecclesiastes 10? Radar, get me Job 9 and 24. Because
Job 9 and 24, you say?
Yeah, Job 9 and 24. Just touching on what you're saying. These are the incentives we're given. And the church, the church doesn't help us. And it doesn't matter whether we're talking about Esau's church or Jacob's church. It doesn't matter whether it's a so-called white church or a so-called black church. Our black pastors are just as bad as the white vicars. They're no different because they're teaching us something that is not of the word of God. And if it's not of the word of God, how the hell are our people supposed to get this right? How the hell are we supposed to start off on a level playing field if we're already going up the wrong path from day dot? And that's what's happened to all of us that was raised in the Christian church. We wasn't given a chance. We was lied to. We was told that Mary was a virgin, had a miracle baby. We was taught the unholy trinity. We was taught to fornicate, lie, fabricate. We was taught that heaven and hell are places that you have to die to go and visit. We was taught all these lies in the Christian church that are not in the Bible. They're just not in there. You can't find them anywhere. And this is our own people, our own black pastors doing this and teaching us this. So they must have their own incentive. But if we want to see clearly what the truth is, we look into this and we come down to the ISUPK school at 394 Lodge Road and learn this One West doctrine under the command of General Yohanna, because this is the truth. This is the home of the truth. And we will tell you and teach you what the kingdom of heaven is. And we will teach you and show you where hell is, that they are not physical places, and we'll show you straight out of the Bible, precept upon precept, line upon line. We will show you that hell is a conditioning, a condition that not just we are in as individuals, but as a nation. Our nation are in hell. Captivity on top of captivity. 400 years of oppressive slavery by the so-called European, the so-called white man. We come out of slavery, we believe we're free. We turn on our one another. We're living under curses of the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28. We hate our one another. We whore out our sisters. We sell drugs to our young men. We give our young men drugs to go and sell. We shoot our one another. We stab our one another. We go out on a Saturday night, men and women, our young men and women. We act like whoremongers. Our women our sisters abort their babies. These things are against God and against his laws, statutes and commandments. But we're committing these sins. Okay, and we're living wicked lives. We are in hell right now, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Make no doubt about that. We are living in hell. This is our hell, and we're waiting for this new kingdom. Matthew 6:10, thy kingdom come. We're waiting for heaven to be placed back on us as a condition. Okay, the 144,000 are going to be in heaven. That's right. The one third hopeful are going to be in heaven. Right. Christ is going to be at the head of heaven, imploring us all to be a part of heaven. That's how it's going to be, not how it is in the Christian church. You've got to die to go and see heaven. It's just not true, and it's not in the Bible. But we'll see who's heaven. If we're in hell now, who do you think's in heaven in this kingdom right now? The so-called white man. This is his heaven. This is his heaven. Thank you, sister. Let's have a look. Read that for me, Radar. Job, get Job 9:24. Read that for me.
I got that here, sir.
And this is proof. This precept that Radar's going to read now. It's not touching on heaven and hell, but it is showing you who's living in heaven to this day, who's in that state of affairs, who's in that condition of being in heaven. And it certainly isn't us, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Just because we was freed from slavery in 1865, that doesn't mean that our hell is over. Our hell is still continuing to this day. We are all in hell, and all you have to do is look around the world to see that. We're living in all the impoverished areas. When you go to Jamaica and you go to the village, you'll be lucky if you can get fresh water and electricity and Wi-Fi. And we're in 2023, when even the third world countries are supposed to have all these things in abundance. It's just not true. Brazil, Sao Paulo, you go in some of the ghettos, in some of the, not even the ghettos in the cities. That's another debate. That's another argument. You go to the small villages, 5-10 miles outside of Sao Paulo, you'll see no electric cabling, no underground electronics cabling. You'll see no telecommunication wires. You can't even make a phone call in some of the villages outside of Sao Paulo. Brazil is a hellhole. That is hell, and it's our people. The tribe of Asher living there. Colombia is the same. You go to some of the small, forget the ghettos where our people are shooting and killing each other and selling each other drugs. You go just outside of the capital of Colombia to some of the small villages. You'll find no light after 6 o'clock. The government turn off the electronics. It's a pay-as-you-go system. Yeah. And you'll find similar things in Jamaica, in the small towns outside the big towns in the country. You'll find you'll find all kinds of stuff that you wouldn't believe. You can't get Wi-Fi, you can't get this, that after a certain hour. And that is hell, Israel. That is a condition of hell. That's no joke. That's no joke. These are things that we take for granted, especially our people, Israelites living in the UK. Can you imagine going home and not having any Wi-Fi? Can you imagine going home and not being able to heat up your water? Can you imagine going home and not being able to phone your sons, your sisters, your daughters, your brothers? Can you imagine that? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. But this is our condition all around the world. The ones of us that are living in the UK, USA, Europe, we're the lucky ones. We're the lucky Israelites. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We're the lucky ones. If you're coming from somewhere like Brazil, Colombia, Jamaica, you're gonna be in a worse hell than we're in. We've just got to make sure we don't walk out of this door and get shot or stabbed. You know, our people are in a bad place, and that is hell. And I don't exclude the Western world, the Western hemisphere, the Israelites that are living in the Western hemisphere. We're the same, but we're just lucky enough to be able to go home and have Wi-Fi, hot water, this or that. But we're still killing one another, ain't we? We're still stabbing on one another. We're still in hell. We're still selling each other drugs. We're still whoring out our women. We're still doing everything what the Most High God told us will put us in hell. And we've done this to ourselves, Israel. Read that. Let's see who the Most High, why did the Most High God do this to us? Why did he take this kingdom off of us? We ruled this kingdom. What did the Most High God do? Read that, Radar.
Con other one, con. Book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked.
The earth is what?
Given into the hands of the wicked.
Read that from the top.
Con other one, con. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked.
And who are the wicked? The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. The wicked is the so-called white man. Because the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Who is in heaven? Who is ruling this earth today? The so-called white man. This is a precept by Job recorded, to tell us who the world's been handed to. And the white man rules this world. They've got all the nuclear weapons. They've got the biggest armies. They've got NATO, Europe's governing body that dictates to the rest of the world. You know, they've got all the money, the treasures, the riches. Damn it, they've got our land. They possess our land to this day. They're the ones that are living in heaven. We're the ones, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, that are living in hell. Okay, and as far as the Most High God's concerned, in the book of Job, this world's been handed to the wicked. Why? Because we was wicked and we couldn't hold it down, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We couldn't hold it down and do what we was asked to do. We couldn't keep our vow with the Most High God. Read that again, Radar.
Con. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked.
The world is given into the hands of the wicked, and this is the state of affairs today. So the white man is wicked, and they are the ones that are in heaven, not us, and not us. Here's definitive proof. You don't have to die to go to heaven. If you want to see heaven, look at the white man. Look at NATO. Look at the royal family of England. If you want to see heaven, you look at the French government, the German government, the British government, the American government, the Amalek, the Israeli government, who killed 1,000 Palestinians with one technical bomb. And the Palestinians have to strap themselves with dynamite and hand grenades and walk into a calf just to get 20 Israelis. You can see all around the world, all over the news, all over the internet, all over terrestrial TV, who is in heaven in this kingdom, who is living in heaven. You can see that it's clear. We might look at the Palestinians and feel sorry for them, and they're not in hell. They're just as bad. The nation of people that are living in hell to this day is so clear and apparent and evident. It is us, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, God's true chosen people, the real 12 tribes of Israel. Right. Yeah, the people you see in Jamaica, in the projects in America, in Brixton, in Highfields, Hillfields, Toxteth, Handsworth, Newtown, Aston. These are the people living in hell. Our people, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Ecclesiastes 10 and 7. Let's read that.
Ecclesiastes 10 and 7. I have seen servants upon horses.
I have seen what?
Servants upon horses.
I have seen servants upon horses. Now let's just think about that for a second. I have seen servants upon horses. Who do you think? Who is a servant? Does everybody know Radar, what's a servant?
Someone who serves you, innit? Someone who's serving.
Yeah, someone that gives up servitude
for
somebody in a higher state than them. Okay, read that again and read all the way through for me, other one.
I have seen servants upon horses and princes walking upon the earth.
Hold on, read that again.
I have seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants upon the earth.
Okay, I have seen servants. So these are people of a low estate, all of a sudden on horses, riding on horseback like kings. And what's the second part? Read the second part.
And princes walking as servants upon the earth.
And princes that are supposed to be in that high estate walking as servants on this earth. Who do you think the servants are that are now on horses? And who do you think the princes are that are now walking as servants? Reverse role. Thank you. Give Ray a hand. Thank you, sir. You're bang on right there. So this is a precept about us. And we're going to go into Radar, get me Genesis 25 and 23. Yeah, we're going to prove this point here of who these servants are that are now riding horses and who these princes are that are now walking this earth as servants. Because we started out as princes and now we're living in hell. Now we're living in a poor state of affairs. We're in all the impoverished areas around the world, all the ghettos, all the council estates that are broken down and need money pumping into them. We've got no businesses. We've got no communities. We've got no love for each other. This sounds like us, Israel. This sounds like a people that are already in hell. And we didn't have to die to go and see hell. You see that? We didn't have to die and go and see hell. Hell is right here in this kingdom. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And you're living proof. You are living it. Read that again, other one.
Come. I have seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants upon the earth.
I have seen servants upon horses and princes walking this earth as servants. So let's go to Genesis. Hold that. We're going to come back to Ecclesiastes 10 and 7. Just hold it a minute. Give me Genesis.
Chapter 25 and 23.
Genesis 25 and 23. Read that for me. Hold on. Let me get there, Radar. Let me get there. Can you get it up? Do you want to get it up on the laptop? Genesis 25 and 23, Radar. Read that. We're going to find out from Ecclesiastes 10 and 7 who these servants are that are now riding the horse. riding horses. And we're going to find out who the princes are in this world that are walking this earth as servants. Read that, Radar. So hold on 1 second, Radar. Shalom, Ira. Yobashim Yoshai Brakadah. Shalom, United, ISUPK, United Kingdom. Barak Yahala. Shalom. Yobashim Yoshai Brakadah. Shalom, Israel. Lord and Christ. Read that, Radar.
Another one, Con. Book of Genesis, chapter 25, verse 23. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy bow.
So here, the Lord is talking to Rebecca, who was barren and got a blessing, and she fell pregnant. She conceived. She goes to the Lord in question. She asks the Lord. She's having stomach pains. What's going on? What's wrong? She prays to the Lord. She asks him, what's going on? And he tells her, read that again, Radar. The Most High God tells Rebecca.
Another one, Con. And the Lord says unto her, 2 nations are in thy bow.
Thy womb. Read that again.
Thy womb. Thy womb. And 2 manner of people.
No, read it again from the top.
Another one, Con. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
2 nations, not one. 2 nations. Read on.
And 2 manner of people shall be separated.
2 manner of people shall be separated. So these 2 nations that are in Rebecca's wombs are twins, but they have 2 separate mannerisms, and they're going to be separated because of their mannerisms. What are their mannerisms? Read on.
Separate from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other.
And the what?
One people shall be stronger than the other.
And one shall be stronger than the other. Who?
Other people, and the older shall serve the younger.
And the elder shall serve the younger. Who is the elder? Who is the firstborn? Let's read on. Let's find out. Read on.
Another one, Con. Verse 24. And when her days to deliver were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb.
So Rebecca realizes now she's got twins in her womb. Read on.
Verse 25. And the first came out red all over, like a hairy garment.
So the first came out red like an hairy garment. Okay. Who
And
goes red in the sun? Hold on, Radar. Who goes red in the sun? Because we know that white people are not really white. You know, this piece of paper is white. That's white. There's nobody in the world that color. Nobody in the world that color. So these people are pink, and they come from a place called the Caucasus Mountains, Europe. Yeah, where it's cold, and they get it's a cold climate, so they stay pink all year round. But the minute a piece of sun comes, what happens to their pink skin? It goes bright red, dark red. Read that again, Radar, verse 25.
Another one, Con. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. And they called his name Esau.
So here we're being told that Esau is the so-called white man. Esau's red and hairy like a garment. He's the so-called white man. And remember, the elder in verse 23, the elder was born to serve the younger. So this is the white man going to serve the younger brother. We're going to find out who the younger brother is. Read.
Another one, Con. Verse 26. And after that came his brother out.
After that came his brother out. Read on.
And his hand took hold on Esau's heel.
So he's getting a little bit of help from his twin. He's grabbed hold of his foot, his heel, and he's pulling himself out. Read.
And his name was called Jacob.
And his name was who?
Was called Jacob.
And his name was called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian. The progenitor of the Hebrew Israelites, Jacob, who wrestled with the angel, had his name changed to Israel, had the land called after his name, and went forward with 2 wives and 2 concubines, and had 12 sons. The progenitor of the 12 tribes of Israel, the black man. There you go. It's a done deal. So the elder is going to serve the younger. So the white man is going to serve the black man. Which means in these days, we were the ones that were in heaven. We were the princes on the horse. And the white man was serving us. He was the servant who had no horse to ride. Go on.
I can't share it. If you open a new tab, we won't push out on the laptop. So
Open a new tab.
Yeah. Don't shut that one down. Just open that one. Yeah. Just go on Google or something like that.
Google. Should not do it on YouTube.
Nah, Google it.
Which one's Google?
Go to the top. Just type it in. Yeah, right there.
Okay. What should I type in? What do you want?
Type in Theodore Roosevelt. F.
Theodore
Roosevelt.
Theodore Roosevelt.
Yeah. Native and slave.
Native and slave.
Yeah. Enter that.
That one, yeah?
Enter your should work.
Huh?
Just enter should be good.
Enter.
Just press enter button for anything. Or click the top one. Go on images, please, Uncle Shah. Go down a bit. Look at it here. Yeah, look at that. See that image there? That's a picture of Theodore Roosevelt and on a horse. And beside him, you see a black man, a Native American Indian.
You see that? You see that? That's President Roosevelt. Theodore Roosevelt.
Right.
Yeah.
The word teddy bear.
Yeah, teddy bear. Yeah. So here's Theodore Roosevelt.
So look, if you go back on the stream, that's like so share it to the people. Go back on the other tab next to Theodore Roosevelt's one.
This one.
Yeah. Go on present button. Yeah, screen share. And it's window. No, in fact, it's right there. It's right there. Click Theodore Roosevelt down there and share. Everyone see that.
Okay, so just for the live audience, so you can see this, that's Theodore Roosevelt on his horse, whose ancestors were servants and serving us. And either side of him are 2 Israelites, 2 black men that have fell from grace. And this signifies us and the state of affairs we're in today. This right here is heaven and hell. This photo right here, this picture you're looking at on the screen right here is heaven and hell. Here's Theodore Roosevelt, the so-called white man, and now he's riding the horse like in Ecclesiastes 10 and 7. We've just read in Genesis 25 and 23 that the so-called white man Esau would serve the younger brother. The elder brother would serve the younger brother. Serve meaning servitude. He would serve the black man. The white man would serve the black man. But here, the roles have been reversed. Then here, the 2 black Israelites are serving the so-called white man, Theodore Roosevelt, who here is riding the horse, just like it says in Ecclesiastes 10 and 7. Read that for me again, Baba Kasha.
Ecclesiastes 10 and 7. I have seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants upon the earth.
So here you've got the servant now riding the horse and the princes walking the earth as servants. And this is the state of affairs that we're in, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. This is how far we fell. This is how far we fell out of favor with our God, the Most High God, the God of Israel. This is what's happened to us.
You can stop sharing that.
Yeah, just go back. Yeah.
No, it's that blue button. Stop sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah, then go back. StreamYard.
Okay.
No. StreamYard. You tag next to it. Yeah, cool. Nice.
Okay. Did you see that, Radar?
Can't.
Okay. All right. So read that again for me, just verse 25, Radar, just so we know where we're at. Get me 2 Samuel 22. 2 Samuel 22 and 6, Bible Kashar, other one.
Genesis chapter 25, verse 25. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment.
The so-called white man, red like a hairy garment, red all over like a hairy garment. Read.
And they called his name Esau.
They called his name so-called white boy. Read.
Verse 26. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel.
Read.
And his name was called Jacob.
And his name was called Jacob. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. That's us. That's us. Read on.
And Isaac was 80 years old.
Hold on, no, I've got to jump up one. I want the verse where the elder son shall serve the younger. Just read that and cut it.
Wait, verse 23. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
2 manner, 2 separate people, 2 people of 2 mannerisms will be separated from thy bowels. They won't be raised together. They won't have nations together. They will be separated. Read.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people.
Hold on a minute. And the what?
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people.
Who do you think's the one that will be stronger than the other? What did David do to Goliath?
What did
Usain Bolt do to Alan Wells? One will be stronger than the other. The Jacob, the so-called black man, will be stronger than the white boy. That's what this is talking about. Sorry, Radar, go on.
No, I was gonna say basically like Mayweather beating up Colin McGregor. There's loads of stuff of us overdoing their minute.
Yeah, Mayweather beating up. Well, I can't say Alvarez because Alvarez could be one of us. Ricky Hatton.
Yeah, Hatton and all sorts. There's loads of points of us kicking Esau up all over the place. You know what I mean?
All over the place. Give me another one, Radar. Give me one more.
Who can I think of? Muhammad Ali beating up Joe Bugner.
This is a brotherhood and sisterhood class. Don't leave out the sisters, Radar. Hold that, and I'm coming back to you.
You can't take out Serena and Venus Williams.
You cannot take out. Give the other one a clap. You cannot take out Serena and Venus Williams. They've been beating up white chicks forever. They've been slapping them off a centre court, left, right, and middle since the 1990s. Go on, another one.
Because they're not in their prime no more. Like, probably days going on 40s.
And they're still beating them up.
Teenagers. And then they're from Compton as well.
We're from Compton.
A lot of people, they had the best training, best coaches. But certain Indian that includes these white people that had the best training, the best coaches.
And not...
We look at Usain Bolt and stuff. He didn't grow up learning the technique about running. It's the average man, probably lived off KFC and regular food, but yeah, it can be all these white people, the strict diet, strict nutritionists, and all the things there.
And these white people, these so-called white boys that is beat up on the track, They've trained with the latest technology. They've trained in oxygen tents. They've trained with respiratory systems, recovery respiratory systems that enable them to recover quicker than Usain Bolt ever would. And all Usain Bolt would do is go down on Ochirais Beach and run on the heavy sand and get heavy legs. That's what that and Jacob destroyed Esau. In every walk of life, Jacob destroys Esau. Why? Because the elder will serve the younger, because the younger is stronger than the elder. And not just physically, by the way. We're spiritually stronger. We're mentally stronger. Do you really believe in your heart of hearts that the white man could have gone through 400 years of beatings, battery, rape, slavery, oppression, getting their feet chopped off so they couldn't run away from the plantation, noosed and hung over treetops, having their children slammed against brick walls till their brains were splattered, feeding our 15 and 16-year-old sons, using them as crocodile bait in Mississippi River? Do you believe the white man could have endured what we did for 400 years? The weaker shall serve the stronger. The stronger will be served by the weaker. Yes, otherwise.
Now, why this is deep, because like they lose their job and commit suicide, man. And then meanwhile now, my grandparents told me how to come to England and was called all types of names and they shook it up, man. You know what I mean? How much jobs we lost with black people? And we're still here, so you know, let's brush it off. Buy the next one. You know, we don't know where food's coming from. We somehow make it work and it's put together. And anything less than that, they jumped up the end of it all, man. They jumped up for
amazing. We
went through more than that. Got on with it, man.
Black people are amazing. We're the strongest people that God. You can see that. Just look at slavery. 4 centuries of it. You can see that we're the strongest people. We're built like breeze blocks. The rest of these nations are marshmallow. We're built like breeze blocks. What they make factories and warehouses with. They can't even use the normal 9-inch bricks, red and yellow bricks they use to build houses. You can't. That's not even the right analogy of us. We are breeze blocks. We're the strongest buildings that are in this kingdom. On this earth, we are the breeze blocks of this life. And even though we're living in hell, we endure and we always come back stronger. And you can see that. Just look at our people. What a wonderful people we are. But we don't know it. We don't realize it. Yeah. And just to take that a step further, you could be a so-called black, Hispanic, Native Indian. You could be homeless, down on your luck. No job seekers, no UC. You could be getting nothing. You'll find a way to survive. You'll get a sleeping bag. You'll find a shop window or a park bench. You'll hustle. You'll bust. You'll find a way to survive. You'll find a way to go to sleep and wake up the next day. And that's what we do. It's built in us. Yeah, go on.
Also, what you said, we're strong spiritually too. Like, you're right. All the oppression we go through, we still believe in God, man. Like, even though it might be the wrong God, it might be the Muslim one, or even God, the white man go through half of that. He starts to question if God really exists no more, man. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
We still know God's going to provide somehow.
Exactly. And just to touch on what Officer Karathia just said, can you imagine going through 400 years of the type of slavery? The transatlantic slave trade was the worst slave trade and oppression and captivity of man's history. There's never been a captivity like that. You know, and if any of these nations, not just the so-called white man, had gone through what we went through, they'd have become extinct. They wouldn't have even caved in. They would have become extinct, because have no delusions. In the transatlantic slave trade, they tried to extinct us. They tried to wipe us out completely. They needed us and they kept us as long as they can, but they killed us willy-nilly. They'd lock us in the barn and throw in 3 Dobermans to rip us to shreds. Imagine dying like that with 3 dogs pulling your limbs off out of the sockets, out of your joints. Can you imagine? And this is what we went through. And look at us now. Yeah, look at us now. We're winning Olympic gold medals, World Cups, Ballon d'Ors. How many Ballon d'Ors did Pele win? 3, 4? Pele was the best footballer in the world for 2 decades. Half of the 50s, all of the 60s, and half of the 70s. There was guys like Johan Cruyff from Holland, Franz Beckenbauer from Germany, who were supposed to be the best footballers in the world, but they couldn't win Ballon d'Ors because of Pele. Cruyff did win a Ballon d'Or, by the way, Johan Cruyff, but Pele won more. He won numerous Ballon d'Ors. This is a black man, a Brazilian from the tribe of Asher. You know, you can't beat us. You can beat us, but you can't destroy us. Do you know why? There's only one entity that can destroy us. That's the Most High God.
Right.
None of these nations are going to be our downfall. Okay, so where we at? 2 Samuel's 22 and 6. Can somebody get me that?
2 Samuel 22 and
Just before you get that, Matataya, Banyaman, UK, Shalom, Lord and Christ, Shalom. Yeah, let's get that. 2 Samuel 22 and 6.
God. The sorrows of hell compassed me about.
The sorrows of where?
Hell compassed me about.
Hold on a minute. The sorrows of hell. I thought hell was a physical place full of fire and brimstone that you would die and go to. You'd die and get sent to. You would die and get dragged down under the ground by the devil himself, by Satan. Read that again, other one.
The sorrows of hell compassed me about.
Tell me if I'm wrong here. I thought sorrow was an emotion. I thought sorrow was a feeling. When you're feeling sorrow, you might have lost somebody. You might have lost some money. You might be down on your luck. You're feeling sorrow. It's an emotion. It's a condition. It's a state of affairs that the mind and the heart's in. Read that again for me, other one.
The sorrows of hell compassed me about.
The sorrows of hell. Hell is an emotion. Hell is a feeling. Hell, right here in the 2nd book of Samuel, Samuel says that hell is an emotion. It's a condition. It's a human condition. It's sorrow here. I'm not saying hell can't be other things, but there's numerous ways or conditions that your mind can be in. Suicidal, homicidal. Even if you want to kill your brother, you're in hell. If you're looking at your brother, your sister, and you want to kill them, you're in hell. Believe me. Believe you me. If you're Israel and you know the only way for salvation is to love your brother, to love your sister, and you want to kill your brother and kill your sister, you're in hell. Don't have any delusions about this. If you want to hurt one of your own people, Israel, you're living in hell. That is hell. Okay, read that for me again, other one.
22 and 6. 2 Samuel 22 and 6. The sorrows of hell compassed me about. The snares of death prevented me.
So the sorrows of hell compassed me about. So they're on him. The sorrows of hell are on him. So this is self-explanatory. Hell is a condition. Hell is a condition, and the snares of death prevented him. Do you know the snares of death? Death is lingering. Do you see this? Does everybody understand this? Is there any questions in class about this precept? Yes, other one.
I've got the one in Jonah lined up as well.
So lucky.
I've got the one in Jonah lined up as well.
Jonah. Yeah, bring it. Read it first. Read it first. Is it to go with this? Yeah. Okay. Officer Karathia is going to bring a precept out to go with this one.
Two scriptures back together. So this is Jonah 1 and 17. Now the Lord had prepared a great fish to swallow up Jonah, and Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights.
So Jonah's in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights. What do you think is going through Jonah's mind when he's in the belly of the fish? He thinks Jonah thinks that the snares of death are on him. Read on.
Chapter 2 and 1. Then Jonah prayed unto the Lord his God.
What did he do?
Prayed unto the Lord his God
Read on.
out of the fish's belly, and said, I cried by reason of mine affliction unto the Lord, and he heard me. Out of the belly of hell I cried.
Out of the belly of hell. So here, Jonah's being saved by God, but I've no doubts about it. When he was in the belly of the fish, he was in hell. Hell is a condition. Being in the belly, he's thinking to himself, can you imagine being swallowed by a whale? But you're still alive inside the whale's mouth. And the whale's a herbivore, so he's not chewing you. He's just going to swallow you whole. And as you're going down, what are you thinking?
Will I ever come out again?
I'm finished. It's over. And what does Jonah do? He prays. He does the only thing you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians can do. He prays to his God, the Most High God. Go on, Adwan.
I feel like you're cutting in, but like the Bible's written in slang, so people understand. Like the way it's written, it's beautiful. Like
Beautiful.
the way hell means grave. And like when a black man's broke, so I'm in hell, I'm in the grave, I'm lower. If I'm in the gutter, I'm not literally in the gutter. I'm low. And Jonah's saying I'm in hell right now. No way, he wasn't in hell. He was in the whale's belly. But he's saying I'm in hell. He's not in the fiery place. He's right in the whale's belly. But what it means is, why? The way things are going right now, I don't know. I'm going to be alive again. Can I breathe again? Can I see my family again? I'm dying. And he called being in a low place, a bad place. He called that hell. That's I like the Bible. I like the way it's written.
Can't. But what did Jonah do? Radar, get me Isaiah 5 and 13. But Jonah prayed. And the Most High God answered his prayer and saved him. You see that? So in that minute, he's gone from hell to heaven. God knows what is to come after. And if you want to be in heaven, you've got to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. You know, the promise of salvation is there for you black people. It's there for us. We've just got to come back to the Most High God, the God of this book, the Holy Bible. That's what we've got to do. Isaiah 5 and 13. Have you got that, Radar?
Con. Book
Read
of
that.
Isaiah, chapter 5, verse 13. Therefore, my people are gone into captivity.
My people of what?
Gone into captivity.
What do you think captivity is? Is it a high state or a low state? It's a low state, ain't it? Anybody that's in captivity is in hell. I could kidnap somebody. I could go out on the street, kidnap somebody, lock them in my cellar. Do you think that person's in heaven or hell? For the period of time that I've got him as a captive. I might not even be feeding him, giving him water. You know, he's not in heaven, is he? He's far from it. Read that again, Radar.
Con. Therefore, my people are gone into captivity because they have no knowledge, and their honorable men are famished.
Read that again.
And their honorable men are famished, and their multitude dried up with thirst.
And their multitude dried up with thirst. Read that from the top, Radar.
Con. Therefore, my people are gone into captivity because they have no knowledge, and their honorable men are famished.
Hold that, Radar. So here, the Most High God is telling Isaiah that his people have gone into captivity. Read that again slowly, Radar, from the top.
Con. Therefore, my people are gone into captivity.
And who are his people? The 12 tribes of Israel, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. They've gone into captivity. Read.
because they have no knowledge.
In Isaiah's day, they had no knowledge. They didn't know. They was fornicating. They was committing idolatry. They didn't even know their own God. Just like we don't today. Just like we're sat up in the Christian church. Just like we're kneeling down in the Islamic mosque. Just like we're up in the hills with the 12 tribe Rastafarian and the Bubba Dread, learning a fake 12 tribe calendar, learning that all three of my sons will be separated at birth, ripped from our bosom and sent and raised in different tribes because they were born in different months. How bizarre does that sound? We're in captivity now. We're in mental bondage, and that's because we're in the Christian church, the Islamic mosque, Rastafarianism, and all kinds of ism, all kinds of nonsense that is not of the Bible and of the Most High God. This is a brotherhood and sisterhood class, and you do well to listen to this and come back to Israel and learn these laws, statutes, and commandments, and start treating you one another like brothers again, and start treating you one another like sisters again. Okay? Then you will be in heaven. If we learn to love our one another like true brothers, like true sisters, we would be in heaven right now. Because if we loved our one another, we would be keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, and we'd be keeping our vow with God. And he wouldn't have put us in a lower state in the first place. Read that again, Radar. Have you got 1 and 3? Read that.
Therefore, my people are gone into captivity because they have no knowledge, and their honorable men are famished.
Drop that and get me Hosea 4 and 6. Shalom, Shapar, Yahweh. Shalom, Lord and Christ. Yo Shemai Ladar Bahashim Yo Shai. Shalom, sister. Tuning in from ATX. Atlanta, it's Atlanta. Shalom, sister, Lord and Christ. Yeah, get that for me, Radar.
I got that.
Yeah, read that. This is to go with Isaiah 5 and 13.
Book of Hosea, chapter 4, verse 6. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge.
My people are what?
Destroyed for a lack of knowledge.
Read it from the top.
Another one can. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge.
This is hell, Israel. This is hell, not knowing who you are. Not being able to teach your children and the generations after you who they are, where they come from, their relationship with the Most High God. Being holy, being separate. But it goes much deeper than that. The cut runs a lot deeper than just not knowing who we are. We're destroyed for not only a lack of knowledge, for the condition we are in. And that is hell. We live in all the impoverished areas all around the world. We are hating our one another. We are selling our drugs. We are selling drugs to one another, whoring out our women. Our women, our sisters are aborting their babies. This is hell, Israel. There's no getting away from this. This is hell. Drop that, Radar. Get me Tobit 13 and 1. Get me that Isaiah precept, please.
Isaiah 1 and 3. The ox knows his owner.
So the ox knows his owner. Let's see how low we really are. Let's see how deep hell can go. How deep hell really is. Read that again, other one.
The ox knows his owner.
The ox knows his owner. Read.
And the ass his master's crib.
And the donkey, the ass, the mule, he knows how to find his way back to the barn. He knows where his master is. He knows his master's scent. Read.
But Israel does not know. My people doeth not consider. A sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupted. They have forsaken the Lord. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. They are gone away backward. Why should ye be stricken any more? Ye will revolt more and more.
Go back to my people.
The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel doeth not know.
Israel do not know. Even the creatures that walk this earth know who they are. Hold on a minute. So if an ox knows who he is, and the ass knows where his master's crib is, where his master's farm is, where his barn is, where he's supposed to sleep at night, but Israel do not know, how low are we? What kind of hell are we living in? If even the animals that walk this earth are in a higher state than us, they know who they are. Damn it, we think we're Christian. We think we're Rasta. We think we're Jehovah's Wickedness. We think we're Muslim. How bizarre is that? We're wrapped up in all these religions, and we're the only people in the world that started out by putting no trust in man. Because I've no delusions. People that follow religion have put their trust in man, not God. We never had any religion. We had 613 laws to follow, to abide by. And that's it. That. There was nothing else beyond that or around that. We had 613 laws. We had faith. We had the Most High God. And we had him backing us. And we dishonored him. We spoiled his name. And we broke our vow. And we was put lower than the ox and the ass. Read that again for me, I beg you, Baba Kushar.
The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel does not know.
Israel do not know. That is hell, Israel. We are in hell. We don't even know our name. We're Williams, St. Patrick, Campbell, Reed, Dixon, Thompson, Thomas. We've got European names. When we're Banyamya,
Right.
Yahawada,
That's right.
we've got Hebrew names that we don't even know anymore. We are in hell, Israel. Do not be deluded when it comes to this book, this Bible. You have to come and learn this. You have to get down to 394 Lodge Road.
That's right.
And learn this One West doctrine from ISUPK under the command of General Yohana. There's no other way. There is no other way, Israel. You're not going to get this in none of these fake Israelite groups neither. You might as well stay in the church. If you're going to join IUIC, stay in the church.
That's right.
Don't bother. Don't bother learning this Bible, because IUIC doctrine coincides with the Christian church doctrine. With the Christian doctrine, there's not a lot of difference. They are wolves in sheep clothing.
And the next line is hard as well. Because, my people do not consider. Basically, not only don't we know that, but
And that's typical of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Not only do we not know God, we don't really care. As long as we're in church and there's plenty of chicks in church, as long as we're in the mosque and people see us as righteous and see us as holy, they'll take me serious. When they see me praying in the street outside the mosque, people are going to think, that brother's a serious brother. No, you're not. You're a clown and you're a joker. You're a clown arse trick. How about that? You don't know this book. If you're getting your doctrine from the imam in the mosque, or from the pastor in the church, or from one of the elders in the hills, one of the Rastafarian or Bubba elders, you do not know this book, and you do not know the Most High God. Stop fooling yourself, Israel. Stop lying to yourself, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Tobit 13 and 1. Get that from me. Can you get me 2 Peter's 3 and 13? If you've
I
got
got
any
that.
questions, yeah, hold on. If you've got any questions, type them in. We've got about 20 minutes left. Any questions, type them into the StreamYard. So like you say, if I may, does Jeremiah 46 and 20 speak of our last captivity? Okay, let's just answer Sha'apar Yehowadah's question just before we go any further. The question, can you touch on the nation of Israel being brought into America from Negro land in Africa? Is there a scripture referring to this last captivity? Deuteronomy 28 and 68, sister. Let's get it for you. Get me Deuteronomy 28 and 68, other one. Just hold on 2 seconds, sis. We're going to give you a verse I'm sure you're familiar with, but this sums it up. Because listen, just before we answer this question, and the question is, can you touch on the nation of Israel being brought into the Americas from Negro land in Africa? Is there a scripture referring to this last captivity? Well, certainly there is, because from verse 15 to 68 in the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, all these verses from verse 15 onwards are curses that will come upon a certain people for breaking their vow with God. And when you go through these curses, it's quite clear to see that we're the only nation of people, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, that these curses pertain to or apply to. These curses are a 3,500 year prophecy that have happened to us. Another condition of hell that we are living in to this day. Okay, so what you've got to remember, and do your research, go and research it if you don't take my word for it. Many of these nations, most of these nations that are alive today in the ancient days have been in some form of captivity. Yeah, but there was only ever, and research it, there was only ever in man's history one nation of people that went into slavery on ships. And that was the Hebrew Israelites, the 12 tribes of Israel. Let's read it. Deuteronomy 28 and 68.
Deuteronomy 28 and 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
The Lord will do what?
Bring thee into Egypt again.
Thee being you, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Read.
With ships.
With what?
With ships.
No, with with trains.
With ships.
With aeroplanes.
With ships.
No, we're going to walk on water.
With ships.
With ships, we will be brought back into Egypt again. Egypt being a name of a land that the ancient Macedonians named, meaning slavery, an ancient Latin term for slavery or the house of bondage. That's what Egypt means. So here, when it says that these Hebrew Israelites or this nation of people in Deuteronomy 28 and 68 that's going to be brought back into Egypt again are being told they're going to be brought back into slavery, back into captivity, back into bondage. I hope that answers your question, Sha'apar. Keep researching, keep doing the good work, sister. Salakia, there's another question here. Salakia, sir, if I may, there's Jeremiah 46 and 20. So okay, we're going to have to check this one, sis, with Captain Mashak. But we're going to save this question. I'm going to give you the answer next week if you could come into class. Jeremiah 46 and 26. Okay, so we've only got 10 minutes of the class left, 15 minutes of the class left. Someone get me 2 Peter's 3 and 13. So, sister, we're not ignoring your question. I think I know what you're talking about here. I know the answer to this question out of our last captivity, but just to make sure and double check, I'm going to check with one of the elders, and that will be Captain Mashak. So let me take a photo. And if you can tune in next week, I'll give you the correct breakdown. I can give you a breakdown now, but I don't want to go off and send you in the wrong place. So tune in next week and I'll give you that breakdown. Okay, sis, thank you for the question. Tawada. Okay, get that for me. 2 Peter 3:13.
2 Peter 3:13. Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth.
Read that again.
Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth.
So whose promise is this? This is one of the apostles of Jesus, Peter, saying that we are looking for new heavens and new earth, new conditions. This implies that heaven and earth are the same place. So how the hell are we sat up in the Christian church being taught that heaven is a place you have to die to go and see, with white pearly clouds and flying unicorns, with angels riding them and cherubims? It's just bizarre. Everything's white and doolally and fluffy. There's no such place. There's no such place in the Bible. There's no such place in the oracles of the Most High God. So where did the Christian pastor get this from? Where did Christianity get this doctrine from? Read that again for me, Baba Kashar.
Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth.
According to his promise, look for new heaven and a new earth. Heaven and earth. The same as Matthew 6:10. Once again, heaven and earth here are being illustrated together as the same place. So that suggests that heaven is a condition on earth. Heaven and earth are together. And it's mentioned time and time again throughout the gospel and throughout the Bible. Heaven and earth be in the same place. So heaven has to be on earth, the kingdom we're living in already. Unfortunately, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we don't have our heaven. That surpassed us because we broke our vow with the Most High God. And we're living in hell. But the so-called white man, the generations of Esau, they're living in the kingdom of heaven right now. There, Theodore Roosevelt and his people are riding the horses, and we're walking this earth as their servants now. Where in Genesis 25 and 23, and 25 and 24, and 25 and 25, we were supposed to be the ones that were served by the so-called white man. But we broke our vow with God, and the roles were reversed, and the earth was handed to the wicked in Job 9 and 24. We've gone through all these precepts today. What's that? Is that second? Is that it on 2 Peter's? Radar, get me Revelation 21 and 1.
You want me to still hold the Tobit one?
Yeah, Sha'apar Yahowadah, Ayandabar Akwath.
Revelation what?
21 and 1. New heaven and earth. Once again, here in this precept, in the revelation of Jesus Christ, scribed by John the Revelator, here we've got heaven and earth being terminalized together again. The terminology heaven and earth is always together. Heaven is on earth. It's here. It's already here. Just that one of the nations claim that status or status of heaven. And right now, it's the so-called white man. It is not us, Israel. And this is why we keep reiterating, you'll do well to get down here and learn this from the men of God. Learn this truth. Get out of the Christian church. It's not helping you. You're going to stay destroyed while you stay in that brick building. It's not helping our people. Revelation 21 and 1. Read that, Radon.
Con. Book of Revelation, chapter 21, verse 1.
6 and 54.
And I saw a new heaven.
I saw a what?
And I saw a new heaven.
Okay, so John the Revelator saw a new heaven. What did he see? The new heaven. Read.
Con of the one con. And a new earth.
And a new earth. A new heaven and a new earth. Together. Not a separate place where you had to die to go and see, like in the Christian church. Again, the kingdom of heaven is not a place where you can go to. It's a conditioning. It's a condition of the human mind and body. Read.
Con of the one con. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away.
So what was the first heaven and the first earth? Can anybody answer me that? What was the first heaven and the first earth? Do you want to have a go, sister? Do you want to have a go, Adawan?
What we live in now, heaven's what you look up to, and the earth's what you look down on. Right about now, you look up to the white man, look down on us. But in the future, you're gonna look up to us.
Just speak up so they can hear you. Say that again.
Heaven's what you look up at, and earth's what you look down on.
Heaven's what you look up at, and earth is what you look down at. Read.
And right about now, we're the people you look down at. No matter where in the country, we're the people on, JSA and bottom council states.
On a low esteem. Give that a hand. So Officer Karathia says, heaven is a place you look up at, and earth is a place you look down at. We're in that lower state. And Esau, the so-called white man, is in that higher state. There's your heaven and earth. Read that again, Radar.
Con of the one con. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away.
The first heaven and earth were done away with. There's a new conditioning coming. But guess who's going to be ruling in the new condition? Who's going to be in a higher state? Who's going to be in a better condition? But what do we have to do? What do we have to do to get that higher state? What do you think we have to do? Repent. What else? Radar? What do we have to
if
do
I
to
may,
get the higher state, to get the new heaven and earth? What
we
do
have
we
to
need?
keep the law, statutes, and commandments.
We have to keep our vows. Give him a hand. Give the brother a hand. We have to keep our vow with God. The laws, statutes, and commandments we promise to keep. We signed this contract through our forefather Jacob. We signed this covenant. We made this agreement with God. We're the only ones that ever broke it. God never broke the covenant. The Most High God never broke the contract he had with his people, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We did a good job of that all alone, Israel. We did that. And that's why we're in hell. That's why we're living in such a low state. That's why the white man's looking down on us from heaven, and we're looking up at him from earth. He's sitting up there on the horse, who was supposed to be serving us. And we're down here as servants now, looking up at him, walking this earth as slaves, slaves in bondage. That's what's happened to us, Israel. We could not keep our vow with God. It's as simple as that. It's not difficult to fathom. You don't need a degree to work this out. We just broke the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God. We broke our vow with him. And that vow was what? It was sacred. It was sacred. Read again, Radar. Read that again, Radar.
Con of the one con. Book of Revelations, chapter 21, verse 1. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away.
But hold on, Christian pastor. I thought heaven was a place you had to die to go and see. You ain't got to die here in Revelation 21 and 1. This new heaven and earth, you can see it while you're alive. If you just keep your vow. But the Christian pastor teaches our people that you have to die to see this place that we're talking about here in Revelation 21:1. Makes no sense. And we're sat up in the church listening to this rubbish. We're sat up in the church listening to this trash and this garbage week in, week out, and giving that damn pastor ties. Makes me feel sick. Read on, Radar.
Khan of the one Khan. And there was no more sea.
And there was what?
And there was no more sea.
There was
Verse
no
2.
more sea. Read.
Verse 2.
So the
And
water had gone, the condition had gone, the water had gone. Read.
Khan of the one Khan. Verse 2. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out
I,
of
John,
heaven.
saw what?
I saw the new city, the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven.
Okay, so if there's a new Jerusalem, there must have been an old one. Where's the old Jerusalem? Passed away. But didn't King David live there? Didn't King Solomon live there? Didn't Jesus Christ live there? You didn't have to die to see the old kingdom, the old Jerusalem. So what makes you think you've got to die to see the new Jerusalem? You see that? It makes no sense, this Christian doctrine. It just makes no sense. The new kingdom of heaven is the new Jerusalem, right here in Revelation 21:2. You don't have to die to see Jerusalem. You can jump on a plane and go and see it. So the new Jerusalem that's coming, why the hell would you have to die to go and see it? It just makes no sense. And it's not of the Bible. Read verse 2 again, Radar.
Khan of the one Khan. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven,
Read.
prepared as a bride.
Prepared as a bride, an adorning bride. Imagine your potential wife walking up the aisle and you're about to get married. This is how the new Jerusalem is going to look. Okay, drop that for me, Radar. We've proved the point. We've proved the point, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, that the kingdom of heaven is not a place you have to die to go and visit. It's not a place you have to die to go and see. The kingdom of heaven is right here on earth. Give me the last precept. That's 2 Ezra 6:54.
2 Ezra 6:54. After these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord over all thy creatures.
So here, Adam's in heaven. Adam's the Lord of everything. He was the first. He was the Alpha. Adam was the Alpha. He's the Lord of all. He controls everything. He's in control of everything. Yeah? Read on.
Of him come we all.
From Adam, all of us come. Not just us. These heathen nations. Esau, the so-called white man. Elam, the so-called East Indian. Ham, the so-called African. Okay? Ishmael, the Arab, Moab, the Chinaman, they all come from Adam. Read on.
And the people also whom thou hast chosen.
And who's that? Radar, who's the people thou hast chosen? Who's thou?
The 12 tribes
You,
of Israel.
singular. This thou is singular. Who's you? Thou.
Jacob, the 12 tribe of Israel.
Hold on, Radar, wait. Thou meaning you, singular. In the modern English. So who is thou?
Jacob.
No,
the 12 tribes of Israel.
He's the Most High God. Read on.
And this have I spoken before thee, O Lord.
And this it's just being reiterated. It's being reiterated. It's been said before. It's being said again. Read.
Because thou madest the world for our sakes.
So the world was made for the princes that are now walking as servants. Ecclesiastes 10:7. The world was made for our sakes. Israel, black man, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. This world wasn't made for the heathen nations. They was made because. And why do you think that because is? They was made to serve us.
That's right.
We was always going to teach them. We can't learn nothing from these heathen nations. They're pagans.
That's right.
They eat pork, shrimp, crab, lobster. They fornicate. They sleep with each other's wives. They break every law that's in this book. They break every law that's in the first 5 books, the Torah. And we wanted to follow them. So it was inevitable we broke our vow. We wanted to follow the heathen. Read on, other one.
As for the other people,
As for the other people, these other heathen nations, read.
which also come of Adam,
They come from Adam. We know that everybody came from Adam. Read.
thou hast said that they are nothing.
They are what?
Nothing.
They are what?
Nothing.
They are garbage.
That's right.
Read on.
But be like unto spittle.
That's what they are. How about that?
That's right.
They are spittle. Read that again, other one.
As for the other people, which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing.
They are nothing. Read.
But be like unto spittle that has and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel.
What is a drop that falleth from a vessel? It's not worth a lot. And that's what our God, the black God, the God of Israel, thinks of these other nations. That's what our God, the black God in Daniel 7 and 9, thinks of the Chinese man,
That's right.
the African,
That's right.
the white man,
Right.
the Indian,
Right.
the Arab.
Right.
They ain't nothing but spit on the ground. It's right. This is the last precept. Let's read that again slowly, just for the class. Let's take this in. Let's go home with this memory so we know who we are and who they are. And we don't look down. We don't let these people look down their noses at us. We keep our vow with God and we will be back in heaven. Do you hear that, Israel? We will be back in Israel. You keep your vow with God. This is the promise according to the book. This is the promise according to the oracles of the Most High God. Read, other one.
As for the other people, which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and hast likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. And now, Lord, behold, these heathen, which have ever been reputed as nothing, have begun to be lords over us, and to devour us. But we, thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten, and thy fervent lover, are given into their hands. If the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? How long shall this endure?
So them last 2 verses, we'll just sum them up and finish. So the Most High God is telling us now through the prophet Ezra that he thinks nothing of these other nations. And we were the greatest people he ever put on this green land. But we was wicked. We broke our vow. And we're asking him here, why? What happened to us? We should have known. And guess what, Israel? We should have known better. We should have known better than to destroy that handshake we had with the Most High God. We should have known better than to break the agreement, the contract we had with him. Can you imagine that we would never be sitting here today teaching this? Well, we would, but we'd be teaching in a different way. We'd be in all our glory. Yeah, we're teaching our people today to come back to this because we lost it and ended up in the Christian church, in the Islamic mosque, in the fake Rastafarian doctrine. And that's what this is about here. How long shall this endure? I'll tell you, Israel, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, how long this shall endure until you come back to the Most High God and keep your vow.
Right.
That's how long we'll endure. And with that, that's the class. Clap it up. The water to the audience. Shalom, all the Akyam. Wa Wasyam Yehovah. Bashim Yoshai Brakata Yehovah Shemai Lada Bashim Yoshai. The word of Lord and Christ. Now I'm going to hand the class over to Trooper Radar for the security announcements.
Let's clap it up one more time for the teacher. The ISUPK security announcements. We are the ISUPK. Started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Under Commander General Yohana. Rules for a new brother or new sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Ties, which is a commandment. Numbers 18 and 21. Malachi 3 and 8 to 10 means 10th. In the Hebrew, Masharah, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Please funds not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Up and coming holy convocations. Announcement of holy convocations.
The Memorial of Trumpets, the 15th of September.
Okay. The holy convocation from the street. All Akim and Aqua have checked the bulletin board in the hallway and checked the ISUPK social media. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black pants, all black boots, shirts, pants, headbands, and scarves. Man of Israel, Amajiam Shabbat, Amajiam Barak, Yehovah Shabrakatah,
Yehovah Shim Yoshai Brakadam.
Yam Yam Yatah. Saw meets turn, give the sisters a 1K salute. Amajiam Shabbat, Amajiam Barak, Yahweh Shema, Yam Yam Yatah. Class dismissed.
Yo, the water.
Yeah, man. Shalom. Yahweh Shema Shabbat.
Yo, Bashim Yoshai Brakadam.